Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to another episode of FS Detail Garage. Again, we have the Mercedes C230 compressor here. We're going to replace the camshaft adjuster magnets on this vehicle, so that will replace the seal between the head and the adjuster magnet, as well as the plug in the center. So first off, we need to remove the air intake here. We need to get access to this area, so we're going to remove this here. You probably have a fabric wrap tube. Mine had ripped apart, so I just went to one of the local parts stores, got a cold air intake tube and made my own. So we're just going to pull this right out of here. I just kind of keep mine in there loosely. It's really not clamped in. They're kind of a pain to get out, but either way, you have ears on the piece down here where it connects, and you have to spread these pieces here so that you can release the ears and pull it away. Next up is remove this plastic shield here. Literally is just rubber grommets held in there. So now you can see our camshaft adjuster magnets in there. That's what we're going to be going after today. This one has a little bit of weepage going on. This one is the one that's actually leaking the most and going down here. But another thing, if these pieces move around a bit, they're pretty much bad too. So once we get those connectors off, we will also see. But the next step is going to be disconnect the battery, because we're dealing with electrical components. So the battery cover is held in with 3 clips. I always like to mention this anytime I disconnect the battery to any of you watching. This is also where your cabin air filter is. So quick way to, easy access to replacing that. So it's going to be a 10 millimeter to disconnect our negative. Just stick that right down in there. Get this out of our way. We can unplug our sensors. If your car is anything like mine, a lot of these connectors are very, very brittle from heat cycling over the years. This car originally was from Canada and then went to Southern California, and wow, you can actually see there's a lot of oil in there. So that's not good. If you find a bunch of oil in there, odds are you're gonna have to replace these jumper wires as well. I don't actually have them, so I'm probably going to end up buying those now. So actually each one of them have oil in them. And I guess this is a common problem because the oil leaks out down into here. That's why they have these wires wrapped here, so that the oil actually doesn't go down through the wiring and then back into the ECU. I guess it can make its way all the way there. So that is part of this weird funky design that they have going on here. It's definitely not a great design. And you can actually see there's quite a bit of oil in that connector. So you can see what our connector looks like here. The extension, so that if it was plugged in like this, we would end up having the oil go down into the line and effectively could ruin the ECU. So they have these pigtail jumpers here to prevent that happening. I guess this is a very, very common deal. So on mine, because I don't have the pigtails, we're probably going to be just plugging this into here once we replace everything, and then we will order the jumpers and replace the jumpers at a later date. Other than that, I don't know what else to do to accommodate this, but yeah, that's the problem. And as you can see, we have no oil down into that connector, so that's good. But you can see there's a lot of oil here. And no oil in the actual main harness plug. But again, a lot of oil. This one was actually, literally dripping. I don't know if you guys could have seen it in the film, but it was literally dripping onto the belt area, so there was a lot of oil in there. So for our next step, we're just going to get our electrical connector out of the way here, and we're going to clean up the area around the adjuster magnet so that we don't get any debris or anything like that into the head. Over there so we don't get anything in them. I'm just literally going to use some purple power degreaser. Let's kind of cover up some of the stuff down here. Or use a brush to break up all the garbage. So you can see all the oil had drained out that way, and it was creating a little bit of an oil stench. Okay, that's probably clean enough. Sorry, the detailer. That's what I do for a trade. That kind of came out of me there a bit. Okay, now that we have it good and clean, we can now remove the 3 bolts on each one of them. Those are actual Torx. So now I move the 3 bolts. It's going to be a Torx E8. So I imagine you guys can see up in there what it looks like. Not much oil came out, very, very little. But this is what the inside of our piece looks like here. And obviously oil gets its way through here and then goes down into our connector, which you can, probably hard to see, but yeah, there's oil up in there. Okay, so we're going to take our new O-ring, we're going to install it. If we're actually doing this on a semi-warm engine, holding the O-ring near the head will actually allow it to expand and it'll just kind of fall right into place. You don't really want to stretch it too much or anything, so just let it go right in. Next step is going to be our rubber plug for the center here. Actually, we're going to grab a little socket to push that down with. Which actually, this will probably work here. They're a little difficult to push in. You want to make sure on the back side that the nipple here has come all the way through. So again, I'm just using the back side of the 1/4 inch extension and we're just pushing it right on. So that looks like it's pretty good to me. So again, O-ring, your center grommet here. And I'm not sure what the exact torque spec on this is, so please don't ask me. I'm sure you can find it online, but they were not in here very tight to begin with, so I mean, we're just going to snug them. We're not going to over crank them. Plus it's an aluminum head, so you don't want to over tighten aluminum at all. We're just going to get them all to snug. All right, I'm going to say that's good. Okay, call that good as well. So now, like I said, because my pigtail jumpers had already been retrofitted and were full of oil, I'm just going to plug right back into the way Mercedes originally had it, since we know that these are brand new, and I'm going to order the extensions, and we're going to put the extensions back on here in the event that these ever fail. We don't want to have our ECU ruined. So that's that, guys. Very simple procedure. Hope I could help you guys out. Get rid of an oil leak for you. Nobody likes smelling oil, and our engines love having oil inside rather than on the outside. So again, straightforward. You can look at those part numbers. VNE is the original equipment manufacturer for this car, and I went with aftermarket O-rings and center plugs, but either way, everything seemed to line up just fine. So now we will just plug everything in. Okay, those connectors are on.